We've all been there. It's time to vote. And as we flip through the voter guide in search of meaningful insights about the candidates, we find at best a 3-paragraph summary of a candidate's statement. This is not the fault of the voter guide, but it does reflect a deficiency in our local and regional broadcasters to provide a more in-depth perspective from local candidates. So the question is, given the challenges in the rise of crime, drug use, and overall disrespect for the law, can you take the next 15 minutes for a deeper look into the candidate seeking your election approval to serve as a judge in Santa Clara County? My name is Jim Connor. Welcome to Game Changers Silicon Valley. My guest on this topic is Johnene Stebbins, the Deputy District Attorney in Santa Clara County, who has decided to run for the position of judge in the county. Johnene, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with a brief background of your experience and what you've done in our legal system today.
So I went to UC Berkeley and then law school at UC Davis, and I've been a prosecutor for 26 years, a deputy district attorney with Santa Clara County. During that time, in my 26 tenure, I've done almost every crime you can imagine: animal abuse, domestic violence, child molestation, rape, homicide, you name it. And now I do environmental prosecutions, which I enjoy as well, and takes me into the civil law area often. I've done numerous cases in consumer protection and have been recognized by the Contractor State Licensing Board for contractor fraud cases. I currently do environmental and have been recognized by environmental regulators for protecting our environment. And then also as part of my career, I believe that knowledge of the law is what protects our individual rights and keeps our justice system in line. And so I've dedicated quite a bit of time in my career teaching law enforcement, making sure everyone is up to date on search and seizure laws and other constitutional updates. I also teach deputy district attorneys on the law and the evidence code. And then I took a special interest when I was on the sexual assault unit in those types of cases. So I've taught for numerous years locally, statewide, nationally on sexual assault investigations and the nuances of those types of cases. It's a passion.
Yeah, well, you've got remarkable experience, and I kind of want to nominate you to be on Law and Order as a prosecutor.
I'm ready.
Because I've just never heard of anybody have this range of experience and then teach also.
Oh, well, thank you.
So congratulations on such great accomplishments.
Thank you so much.
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
Let's start with the environmental law. What is that exactly? Does that mean I can't dump garbage, I can't be a corporate dumper?
It kind of means all of the above. So first, I do want to make it clear that I'm giving my opinions and my experience. I'm not representing Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office today. I'm representing my own views and what I have seen over my 26 years as a Santa Clara County Deputy District Attorney. Currently, I do environmental prosecutions, and those involve both corporate illegal dumping, so to speak, whether it be actual trash on the side of the road or more common than not, it is illegal dumping into our creeks and waterways, whether it be heavy metals being discharged or those types of things. So I've had numerous companies that I have taken civil action against, and they have not only paid penalties, but what's unique about Santa Clara County is we also usually will incorporate some type of special environmental projects that we ask the companies to donate to, which usually involves creek cleanup, since that's a big issue here in Santa Clara County.
After you take them to court and you get a judgment, they pay some money, is there monitoring of their activities to be sure they don't somehow redo this?
Of course. So as part of our settlements in the DA's office, and we are unique, not every DA's office has an environmental prosecution unit. There are several throughout the state, and oftentimes we'll work cases together if there is a company that crosses many jurisdictions in our state. And normally, besides the civil penalties that go to the various district attorney's offices, there is injunctive terms. So oftentimes we'll require them to have an environmental specialist on staff so that we can monitor them and make sure that everything stays status quo and in compliance.
So it seems that many prosecutors have tremendous discretion not to prosecute. We hear this all the time. Mm-hmm. Case was dropped, whatever. What's the reality of that? Is that the news overhyping this or playing to certain political interests?
Well, certainly the pendulum has swung. So we had
Which way?
Right. Well, in 26 years, it's swung all over the place. So I came to the DA's office shortly after Polly Class homicide and shortly after 3 strikes was passed. And the pendulum was going much towards law and order, and perhaps it went too far that direction. I think some of the changes that have been made to that law specifically have been good changes. But now I think our pendulum has swung the far direction. Instead of being progressive, I feel like we're regressing in the justice system. And some of those changes have been at the expense of public safety.
Yeah, many people feel that there's a lack of accountability in people's behavior. If you do something violent or you steal, outright threats, there should be some accountability for that if you're caught and you go to court. So.
Right. Well, and absolutely. And I think that folks don't always know, as you said in your intro, you meet a candidate by 3 paragraphs in a ballot statement, which is why I really enjoy being here and having an opportunity to discuss some of the issues that are out there, ones that I cannot single-handedly solve as a judge, but we're getting them out there, right? But yeah, there's definitely a revolving door going on right now, and that's what I mean when the pendulum has swung a little too far. It's at the expense of public safety.
Great. Well, let's go into a little bit about being a judge by doing one last question about that. Who really is it? The judges are too lenient, or the prosecutors are not pursuing the cases, or a combination?
So folks passed Prop 47. And it was called the Safe School and Neighborhoods Act, but it's not keeping our neighborhoods and schools safe. But if you didn't read the language of the actual bill, you would have no idea that you decriminalize certain crimes. We as a community decriminalized drugs. We softened the theft crimes, and that has had definitely an impact on our community.
So now you're running to be a judge, and was this a plan? Did you say, I think somebody retired, is that correct?
Yes. So I am very happy being a DA. Spots for judge rarely come up for election. Oftentimes they're appointed. And Judge Chiarello has decided to retire at the end of his term, which has brought his seat up for election. And it's been a long time since the seat came up for election. And he, in fact, is endorsing me to replace him in his seat. So that is an honor. And so it was a perfect set of circumstances.
It seems like you've got a pretty deep range of endorsements. I was looking at the list. Do you want to give us a few samples?
So I'm very excited about my endorsements. Law enforcement, almost in its entirety, has endorsed me. I think law enforcement is also frustrated with the revolving door of crime because, of course, they arrest someone and they see the person out on the street the very next day, and now they're having to rearrest them either for similar crimes or because they failed to come to court, and it's exhausting their resources as well. So I have endorsements from law enforcement agencies. I think 12 of the 14, basically everyone who was endorsing or is endorsing has endorsed me. I have great support from the bench, the current bench, and I have great endorsements from our DA community and the Government Attorneys Association, which is comprised of the public defenders and the district attorneys in our county.
That's very impressive, frankly.
Thank you.
Very good. And you went to Davis, I think, as a law school?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Right. So what's your perspective now on being a judge? What would be your message?
So my message is I feel like with my experience as a DA, I'm a line deputy in the courtroom. I see the effects that the various laws have had. I see the effects that it has on justice being served, the time that it takes to get justice. And so I think as a judge, I can definitely assist with that. Also, I just know that integrity, fairness, reasonableness are very important, and those are absolutely qualities that I have.
What is the term of a judge?
The term of a judge is 6 years. So as folks look at their ballot, there are other judges up for re-election, but normally in the legal community, folks do not run against an incumbent judge. So there is only one seat that is up for election, and that's seat number 5.
I see. Good. What is, in your mind at this point, your personal opinion on the greatest threat we have to public security today? I mean, it could be mental health, it could be drug abuse, it could be criminal gangs. I don't know. I just want to get you have the experience to know.
Well, I definitely think we're making great strides in mental health, and we still have a mental health court that has a lot of resources. So I know that the public thinks that, the criminal justice system isn't set up to deal with mental health, and to some degree that is accurate. However, for lower level crimes where folks are not going off to prison, but they're coming into our county jail, we do have a mental health judge, we have a mental health department, we have a team of mental health professionals that can get services to people. And there's this stick, so to speak, that is jail. So we are cajoling folks to stick with treatment or they face some jail. And they don't face jail forever. Normally, if there's a failure, they might go to jail for a few days, and then they come back before the mental health treatment court, and they get reassessed, and a new plan is put forth.
Are there other areas you think that are important to address?
Yes, so homelessness is a huge issue. When I have gone out and to other folks running for election in different offices, the people want to hear about what we're doing to solve homelessness. And I think that many people don't understand where this explosion came from. Prop 47 was supposed to reallocate resources by removing people from the jail system and decriminalizing drugs. But unfortunately, we've reallocated it in a not so great way because the criminal justice system, like mental health, had an infrastructure already set up for drug abuse, drug addicted criminals. So they would come into the justice system, and similar to mental health court, we had a drug court that had professionals, beds available for detox, treatment, sober living environments. And I don't think the public knew we had this system set up. And we had a choice for drug addicts that came into the criminal justice system. You can choose jail and just serve your time, or you could choose treatment. And of course, most people chose treatment. Prop 47 got rid of the mandatory treatment, and so now the choice is treatment, or there's really not much punishment, so nobody chooses treatment anymore. And that has really caused an explosion in our homeless population.
Is this your first time seeking elected office?
It is my very first time. And I can say my poli-sci degree from Berkeley is doing me no favors right now. No favors. But
So what's it like now? I mean, I'm going to just ask you this because I've never run for office, but did you say, I'm going to do this? Now you formed a campaign. You've got a campaign manager. Do you have to raise money?
I do. I have to raise money. I do have a lovely campaign manager. I have a lot of support from my friends and family. But it is a county-wide election. So I envy now those that run for city council because it's just the city. I have to try to get out in front of the county and get them to know me. And so that is difficult. So, of course, I need to raise money to try to get myself out there. So other than my constant heartburn and my eye twitch, I think it's going great.
Well, you've been delightful, and I want to invite our audience to take a look at your campaign, maybe make a donation, and you give us or give them some idea what's the way to do that. Is it a web page? Is it a Facebook? Or how do you want to help people?
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me and asking me all these questions. And people can support me if they go to my website, Johnene Linda Stebbins for Judge. I know it's long, but we wanted that full name in there. Johnene Linda Stebbins for Judge.org.
Is that for or FOR?
No, FOR.org.
Johnene, you've been delightful. I want to wish you every success. I think you'd be a great judge in our county here, and I want to wish you, I hope you get elected, frankly.
Thank you so much.
And we'll get you back as a judge and hear more about what's going on in the legal system.
I would love it.
Thanks for joining us in this episode. If you gained insights from this conversation, share this show with your network. You can view all shows at our website, GameChangers.tv, as well as the podcast, Game Changers Silicon Valley. We look forward to your continued interest in upcoming shows.